Now, if you watched our recent MSR Houston 22 video, you know there was some serious racing machinery there. There was like a hot rodded El Camino with some professional racing drivers. There was a turbo small block powered BMW E46. And there was like a wide body Thunderbird American NASCAR Classic. And you know what all of those cars had in common?
They all got smoked by an AMC Gremlin. And we figured that deserves a video of its own.
Yeah, this Gremlin from Team Lowball, they finished 5th overall out of 108 cars. Now, naturally, that made many people think, well, there is something super cheaty and high performance baked into this car.
This is an AMC Gremlin, but to finish 5th overall, surely it's got a fuel-injected V8 swap. Surely it's a tube chassis race car with just a Gremlin body on top. Well, surely they also have a team full of Travis Pastranas and Connor Dailies. Yeah, this is just a basic Lemons build with a focus on simplicity and, most importantly, reliability. And it's driven by a bunch of drivers who know how to stay out of trouble, which turns out it's a lot more important than having an LS swap in your BMW.
Now, the team captain, Patrick, he will tell you that this whole Gremlin adventure on the team, it goes back to his father's love of AMC products. And now this guy, he grew up surrounded by derelict AMXs and Javelins and stuff like that. It is baked in with this guy.
Yeah, that'll definitely influence your youth.
I learned it by watching you.
And Patrick did inherit his dad's love of AMCs. He also added his own AMC-adjacent Jeep XJ knowledge to the mix.
Now, the first Gremlin that these guys raced, they found it rotting behind an abandoned car dealership in 2015, and it had trade-in paperwork from like 25 years before that in the glove box. So apparently, 35 years ago, the market for used Gremlins, not so good. Turns out 5 years ago, also not so good.
It came with a 232 straight 6, and this is where Patrick's Jeep knowledge came in handy. That's the same engine family that was put into countless Jeep models. After talking the team out of doing what everyone expected, which is a V8 swap, he amazingly brought the original 232 back to life.
They ran the stock 232 for a few races. Patrick said, you know, it actually did not have enough power to keep up with the safety truck. This is true of a lot of cars, but, you know, this was going to be a real contender, so they upgraded.
Yeah, they went from the 232 to the big block 258. That sent them to a Class C win in 2020.
So naturally, they went power mad at that point, and then they went to a 4-liter Jeep motor with a carburetor and a 4-speed.
Now, the suspension is somehow even less exotic than that, although it does have the factory Rally X package. As far as we could tell, that's just a 7/8-inch front sway bar and nothing else. To that, they added some eBay Motors front springs, shocks originally designed for a Ford Fairlane. Out back, you've got stock leaf springs. They de-arched those with the Harbor Freight hydraulic press and a stock AMC 20 rear end.
Brakes are bone-ass stock AMC, solid front discs, drum rears, manual master cylinder.
So to recap, we've got an updated version of the original 74 AMC straight 6 engine, stock AMC transmission and diff, completely stock brakes, and a suspension that's a mixture of stock, eBay, and Harbor Freight.
Well, yes.
The drivers, with all due respect, are really no more exotic than the car. There's Patrick, he's a paramedic. There's his dad, he's a retired counselor. And there's his dad's buddies from high school. One, I think, is an engineer. The other one, actual cowboy.
Yeah, they've had no motorsports experience outside of Lemons. No racing, no autocross, no schools, no HPDE.
And yet they have figured out the actual secret to dominating an endurance race. Stay out of trouble, keep the car running. That's it.
And that's how they wound up finishing 5th out of 108. Oh yeah, and they won the grand prize, the Index of Effluency.
So if you're wrestling with that classic Lemons decision, I want to dominate. Do I get a turbo LS swapped BMW? Do I get a hot rod supercharged Miata? Or do I get a basically bone stock Gremlin? I think you know the answer now.
Now, when these guys first showed up, for whatever reason, Judge Steve felt that it was like a really cheaty Lemons car.
This was a GT40 Mark II to Steve.
He's like, man, have you seen the suspension on that thing? That's 40 penalty laps. Like, Levi's edition, whatever.
Every second you don't subscribe or watch one of these videos, another Vega is sent to the crusher. Won't you help us save Classic?